Another X-Men movie? Another time that they didn't do this. Wasted opportunity. The X-Men are back, but this time they're not going back in time. Okay. X-Men Apocalypse starts with a scene in Egypt, which is how all great movies begin. Introducing the character Apocalypse, who is like an Egyptian god-man mutant. I missed this part of the movie because there was a drunk person sitting next to me in the theater. He had his phone out and was making weird comments. I moved. It's been 10 years since the last X-Men movie, and yet no one has seemed to age a day. We have James Mcavoy, who's awesome. Jennifer Lawrence, who obviously doesn't want to be there. And Michael Fassbender as Magneto, who's the most interesting character in the film, for the first part of it. We also have some new yet familiar X-Men, with Jean Grey, Scott Summers, Nightcrawler, and Quicksilver, who is the best. There are other X-Men in the movie, but they pretty much have no character. So I feel like I should preface once again that I am not a X-Men comic book reader, so I am going at this completely from the film's perspective. Some of the X-Men films I've really liked, some of them, no. One thing we can all agree on is that X-Men 3 sucks. That's actually a line in this movie. As some people might know, Bryan Singer, who is the director of pretty much all the good X-Men movies, came back for this one, and this might be his worst one, even though it's not the worst X-Men movie, it's somewhere in the middle. What Bryan Singer has done well with this series is balancing all of these characters and making each of them unique and interesting, and also not falling into superhero movie cliches until now. I guess it's not technically his fault, because this story just is... The Apocalypse story is just not very interesting. By the way, Oscar Isaac plays Apocalypse. You won't be able to tell. I'm sure anyone who even knows who Oscar Isaac is and sees this film but doesn't know he's in it will not be able to tell. He is so padded in makeup, and I guess his only direction was, "You're a god." So the boring godlike blue character gets all of his little, basically, minions together, none of which are really interesting except for Magneto. Why is Magneto interesting? Because we already know him. And we're also given a little arc for him that is, like, some of the best stuff in here. Like, the big problem with this movie is that it doesn't really need Apocalypse. He's basically a MacGuffin. At the beginning of the movie, we're shown that Magneto is moving on with his life. He's trying to live incognito. He's got a wife and his daughter. And blah, blah, blah. Tragic things happen. He hooks up with Apocalypse. If Apocalypse had not been the main bad guy, but had just been, like, something that Magneto does to antagonize our main characters, then maybe this would have been a lot more interesting of a story, because Magneto's character just kind of hits pause in the middle of this movie and is just kind of shuffled to the background until the very end, until the script needs him. There's also just one too many characters in this movie. There's a character who's basically a love interest for Charles Xavier, and apparently she was in the first rebooted movie, the X-Men Young People, and I don't remember her at all. I've only seen that movie once, but I just completely forgot that character was in that movie, and the whole movie I was just going, who is this lady? I don't remember. Okay, you say she was in the last one? Okay, sure. She's really just there to, like, give exposition, and the movie you could have dropped her and not lost anything. And there's also a character in this movie that dies. I'm not going to say who, but there's a character that dies, and you will literally forget that that character died 10 minutes later. They're that expendable. They're just, hi, I'm here to give information and things, and I'm a character. Oh no, I'm dead. Oh no, we're sad. Okay, moving on. It's just such a shame, because there are characters and plot threads in this movie that work really well. Like, I really liked Magneto's story at the beginning. Quicksilver has a great scene, just like in the last movie. Nightcrawler is a really cool character. I feel like he could have done more in this movie. I feel like he was just kind of came along so that he could do things within the plot, but he didn't really have much of a character story. Jennifer Lawrence, just like, she cannot do serious, I am serious person. Either she is just bad at being like, I am serious, awesome person, or she just does not care and just obviously doesn't want to be there. It's so obvious that she's not in the makeup for most of this movie because she didn't want to. They try to, like, dip their toes in the water of the Jean Grey, Scott Summers love story, and I'm not doing that again. And it didn't really work for me, mostly because I just didn't really care for those actors, and I've never really cared for those characters too much. So there's not really much in this movie to like make me angry, or to just like say, just forget this whole series of flip tables, I don't care. It just kind of is. It's an okay middle of the road summer movie that is really too long. Kind of like the X-Men Young People movie, I'll just forget that I saw most of it. But some of the good stuff in it makes up for it a little bit, so it's not terrible. I just think they need to take more chances with these X-Men movies to make them stand out a bit more, and this one is just plays it really safe. But if you do go see X-Men Apocalypse, please don't go drunk and breathing on people and playing with your phone and making weird noises the entire time.